Somewhere over the Gulf of Aden, 12 hours into our flight, I watched our mission commander pull a battered paperback out of his flight bag and disappear into it. Not a manual, not a biography of some general, a novel. That image has been on my mind lately because there's a whole conversation happening right now about men in fiction. So today I want to make the case to read fiction. From a guy who flew Navy missions and writes thrillers for a living. I'm begging you to read fiction, bro. And I'm going to give you better reasons than just, it's good for you. First, the situation. According to the National Endowment for the Arts, fiction reading in America hit its lowest level ever recorded in 2022. 37% of adults read a single novel or short story that year. Break it down by gender and it gets starker. About 29% of men read any literature at all, compared to 49% of women. Some analysis put men at only a fifth of the total fiction audience. And this didn't start with smartphones. The slide began back in the 80s and 90s, so we can't just blame TikTok. Somewhere along the way, men just decided novels were not for them. I get the logic because I half believed it myself. Fiction is made up, nonfiction is real. If I'm going to spend my limited time reading, shouldn't it be something useful? Here's the thing though, the most practical institution I ever belonged to disagrees with that notion. The United States military puts novels on its official reading lists. Ender's Game has sat on the Marine Corps Commandant's reading list for years. Think about that. An organization whose entire job is preparing people for life and death decisions looked at a science fiction novel about a kid playing war games and said, our warfighters need this. They put it there because fiction does something training manuals can't. And it isn't just official policy. Deployment taught me that reading culture in the military is alive and well below decks. Paperbacks circulated through our squadron like currency. Kindles found in the pockets of flight suits. Nobody called it self-improvement. It's just what steady men did with lots of free time and no bars. The guys reading novels were never the soft ones. More often, they were the guys you wanted next to you when things went wrong. If a Navy guy defending novels is your kind of content, hit like and subscribe to Fireside Writer. This channel is where we take storytelling seriously, whether you write it or just read it. Before I make the case, let me clear the objections because I think I've made every one of these myself. I don't have time to read. You have time. The average American finds multiple hours a day for screens, and I'm asking for 20 minutes of it. It's about priorities. Fiction is fake. It's useless. A flight simulator is fake too. And the Navy spent millions putting me in one. Because rehearsing reality is one of the most useful things a brain can do. And the one that nobody says out loud. Reading novels feels like it's for women now. I understand where that comes from. The online book world skews female. The recommendations skew away from you, and a lot of men concluded the whole medium moved out of the neighborhood. But fiction didn't leave you. Hemingway didn't stop being fiction. Neither did McCarthy or Clancy. An entire wing of the library was for readers exactly like you. And it's sitting there right now, waiting for you to come home. So let me make the case. Reason 1, fiction is a simulator. When I trained to fly, we spent hours in simulators before anyone trusted me in a real aircraft. The simulator lets you fail safely. A novel is a simulator for judgment. You live inside a character's decision, feel the consequences, and walk away with experience you didn't have to bleed for. Read enough crime fiction, and you've sat through 100 interrogations, watched 100 lies unravel. Your pattern recognition for human behavior sharpens, and you didn't have to get conned once to earn it. Reason 2, reading people is a practical skill. Every good aviator, cop, salesman, father shares one trait. They read people fast. Psychologists have studied this, and fiction readers consistently score higher at inferring what others think and feel. That makes sense because a novel is the only technology ever invented that puts you inside another human being's head. Nonfiction tells you what people did. Fiction shows you why from the inside. If you negotiate, lead, parent, date, that's a hard skill, and novels train it. Reason 3, attention is the new bench press. Everything in your pocket is designed to shred your focus. The average man can't sit with one thing for more than 20 minutes anymore, and everyone can feel it. Reading a novel is resistance training for your attention span. It's hard at first, exactly like the gym is hard at first, but then it isn't. And you walk around with a concentration most people have surrendered. In a distracted world, the man who can focus has an edge everywhere. Reason 4, this is where the meaning is. Men are hungry for meaning right now. And a lot of us are trying to get it from podcasts and self-help, which mostly tell you about life secondhand. Fiction hands you lives whole. War, fatherhood, failure, loyalty, death. The big stuff. Dramatized instead of summarized. When Odysseus finally gets home, when a detective closes the case that broke him, something lands in you that no bullet point list ever will. You don't just learn the lesson, you live it. And there's a downstream effect worth pointing out. The reading crisis started young, and boys learn what men do by watching men. A boy who watches his dad genuinely absorbed in a thriller on the couch learns that stories belong to men too. If nothing in this video moves you for your own sake, do it for the kid doing recon on your habits. 20 minutes on the couch with a paperback might be the most important and cheapest piece of fathering you ever do. Before the book list, one thing, if this is landing, I share my path to publication in my newsletter at tjstecker.com. It's free, it's honest, and the link is in the description. Check it out and download the free short story. Now, let me solve the real problem, which is where to start. Because most guys who bounced off fiction, including me, bounced off for the wrong books. Because somebody handed them a slow literary novel in the 10th grade and they concluded that all reading was homework. So here are 4 on-ramps, all field-tested for men who don't read. Killing Floor by Lee Child. Jack Reacher gets off a bus in a small town and gets arrested for murder within the hour. Short sentences, relentless momentum, a hero built like a brick shithouse. If you ever watch the Reacher show, the book is better and faster. No Country for Old Men by Cormac McCarthy. A hunter finds a drug deal gone wrong and $2 million in the desert. What follows is the leanest, most brutal thriller ever written by an American master. You can read it in 2 sittings and think about it for years. The Hunt for Red October by Tom Clancy. A Soviet submarine captain decides to defect with his boat. This one's personal for me since Clancy wrote about the aircraft I flew. It's competence porn in the best sense. Smart men solving an enormous problem under pressure. The Black Echo by Michael Connelly. LAPD detective Harry Bosch catches a case tied to his past as a tunnel rat in Vietnam. Connelly was a crime reporter, and it shows with every authentic page. Pick whichever one sounds like a movie you would watch. That's the whole trick. Fiction isn't medicine, and you're allowed to start with dessert. 2 permissions before we close. First, audiobooks count. If your reading time is a commute or the gym, a narrated Reacher novel is still a novel, and your brain still runs the simulation. Second, quitting counts too. If a book hasn't grabbed you by page 50, put it down and grab the next one. There's no teacher grading you anymore. The goal is momentum, and momentum comes from the books you actually want to open. Here's my challenge. 1 novel in the next 30 days. And if you want, you can read my novel and join my ARC team. The advanced reader copy will be sent to you, and all I ask from you is to review it honestly on Amazon when the book comes out. 20 pages a night. Less time than 1 episode of anything. If you hate it, come back and tell me in the comments, and I'll recommend a different one. Matching guys with books sounds like fun. And if you got a novel that converted you into a reader or converted a guy that you know, drop it in the comments below. Let's build the list for men when they look for fiction. So until next time, go read something, and I'll see you by the fire.